Welcome to this Galson research webinar on Agentic AI vulnerabilities. I'm your host, Chad Kraft. I am the marketing manager at Galson Research. Today we are featuring Susanna Cox, AI security consulting researcher. Susanna Cox is an AI architect, AI security researcher, and patent holder with over a decade of experience in mission-critical AI. She provides insights and training in AI security and threat modeling to technology executives, data and security practitioners. She is also a Galson Research Fellow, workshop presenter, and a member of the Galson Expert Network. Now it is my pleasure to bring on Susanna. Susanna, take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here talking to you today about a really critical vulnerability that we're seeing in the agentic AI landscape. It's called Agent Smith, and it was discovered by the team at Noma Security, but I'm going to get to that in just a minute. Right now, I want to dive in with kind of helping set the tone for what agentic AI is and why this vulnerability was possible in the first place. So you've probably heard a lot about agentic AI in the news. It's all over in terms of how it can increase your business efficiency. We're seeing a number of organizations in a race, and there's a lot of FOMO right now to try and implement agentic AI solutions as fast as possible. But something that is often being ignored in the shuffle is security. And unfortunately, we're no longer able to ignore AI security. There was a long time when this was sort of on the back burner and people didn't really have to think about it. But as we're seeing AI applications embedded increasingly into more critical functions in society, in business, in all types of organizations, AI security is really coming to the fore because honestly, we don't have a choice. We have to start paying attention to it. So you're going to see why here in a moment with Agent Smith. But for now, just keep in mind that when you think about AI agents, what we're talking about is the concept of these models, large language models that have been integrated as chatbots with natural language interfaces. We're taking that one step further and we're giving these models the ability to interact with the outside world. So in other words, they have tasks and they have access to tools now, so they can have real world effects. So it isn't just necessarily you having a conversation with a helpful chatbot that summarizes things for you or provides you with business insights. Now you may potentially have an AI agent, which is reading and summarizing your emails or accessing databases. So while all of this sounds really convenient from the gate, and you think, well, great, I would love to have an agent or an assistant that reads and summarizes all my emails for me, we need to start thinking about what that means in terms of security. What are the security implications of giving something, a potentially trusted agent, access to your entire email history? Do you necessarily trust something that is reading all of your emails, all of your texts, going through all of your photos, that sort of thing? And these are the tasks that AI agents are being assigned in the consumer side. Now, when you think about this in terms of business, you have to really start thinking about the financial investment, your infrastructure, your sensitive information, your intellectual property, your IP. How much critical information are you potentially giving access to when you allow one of these AI agents into your system? So this is the thought process that I want you to be thinking in your mind, and this is sort of what I want you to hold in your brain, is that you're giving a tremendous amount of access to these AI models, which is a tremendous amount of trust. And what are you giving them access to? And how do you know that they're secure? Okay, let's dive in. So Agent Smith was a vulnerability that was discovered by the Noma security team. It's an AI security company. Security researchers there found this vulnerability and published it back on June 17th. Now, they didn't find it on June 17th. For those of you who don't know, or anyone who's curious about what we do in the security industry, when we as ethical hackers find a security vulnerability, we don't necessarily make that public immediately. There is a process that we go through for responsible disclosure. And in that process, generally speaking, we contact the maintainers of the software or system in question with the hopes that whatever security flaw that has been discovered can be patched. So at some point in time, the Enoma security team discovered this vulnerability, which they named Agent Smith, and you'll see why in just a minute. But this vulnerability has been patched and remediated by the maintainer now. So once we got the information that it was published, thankfully it had already been repaired. And I say thankfully because, as you're about to see, it's actually really, really critical, very severe. So let's dive into the what here. Um, Cutting to the chase, malicious proxy settings can be added to a prompt, which, again, if you're familiar with using these AI systems, you prompt them with natural language. So this is just adding a malicious proxy setting uploaded to LangChain Hub, which is a popular spot for people who are interested in working with AI models, and then downloaded by the users. Users would have no idea that this prompt was malicious, but it would allow the exfiltration of highly sensitive data that users wouldn't know about. And this could lead to potentially catastrophic failures depending on the system application. This vulnerability was so severe that it earned a CVSS base score of 8.8. That is very, very bad. This is a pretty serious vulnerability. Now, why do I say this is an agentic AI vulnerability? Well, because AI agents are based on LLMs. So any security vulnerability that you find in an LLM is going to be found in an AI agent as well, because that's what these systems are based on. So when we see something this severe come up, and then we see these applications where these agents are being launched into every corner of industry with these potentially very secure, very severe, rather insecure vulnerabilities, it's quite concerning from a security perspective. So that's just the base level facts of what happened with this Agent Smith vulnerability. Now let's go into a little bit of the background. So AI is complex, right? Everyone is very excited about it. Everyone is understandably eager to dive into this technology and find new applications for it. But then on the other hand, you have the fact that this is mathematically complex stuff. Most people will tell you that they don't understand how AI works. Most people also are aware that a lot of AI researchers say we don't fully understand how these models work. Now, there's a little bit of debate within the explainability camps. I'm not going to bore you with that right now. But the point that I'm trying to make is I think most of us would agree that AI feels to many people, even seasoned technologists, like a very complex and new idea. So there's a lot of mathematical background that goes into making these models that people who are using them and implementing them may not be aware of. So today I'd like to give you just a little taste of that, which I, as an adversarial AI/ML researcher, have worked on, to give you an idea of the severity and help you have a more solid mathematical understanding of how something like this could happen. So let's talk about AI adversarial subspaces. In adversarial machine learning, the subspaces represent the space of all potential attacks against a model. So you can think about every AI model has a box underneath it, right? And this box contains all of the possible adversarial attacks against this model. Now, we are used to thinking as human beings in 3 to 4 dimensions, right? So we exist in a 3-dimensional world. We have 3-dimensional objects all around us, and we're sort of moving through that in a 4th dimension, which is time. I'm not going to get too crazy and abstract here, but I'm telling you this for a point because it's very easy to imagine this 3-dimensional box of all the adversarial attacks against a particular model. Now, that could be a big box, it could be a small box, but we can sort of imagine what it might look like and what's inside of it, right? Well, in reality, the area of these adversarial attacks is 25 dimensions large. So the space of this attack surface is huge. It's basically effectively infinite. We don't have the compute power to find all of the potential attacks. It's generally considered to be an NP-complete problem, which means unless you have a quantum computer laying around, you're not going to be able to find all the adversarial attacks. So why is this a problem and how is it related? Well, Agent Smith is one attack. It's one attack that has now been patched and remediated. But there are going to be more. And if an attack like this is possible, then you have to imagine what else might be possible in this massive, unimaginably large 25-dimensional box of attacks. So a given model's attack surface being nearly infinite may be so large that it is effectively impossible to know, quantify, or even understand what portion of attacks we do know. We will not be able to define them all. Because of this huge 25-dimensional subspace. So when it comes to adversarial attacks against AI/ML systems, the fact is we simply don't know what we don't know. In other words, we're not going to be able to quantify how many of the attacks we've found out of the total, because if we have a potentially infinitely large number of them, there's just no way to count. So what does that mean? What do we do next? If we have vulnerabilities like Agent Smith out there, which can be so severe that they earn an 8.8 score, that they have the ability to exfiltrate all of this sensitive data, that are being given nearly unlimited access to your user data, your business data, your sensitive IP, where do we go from here? What do we do next? Well, first things first, we have to start with a recognition. AI security has come to the enterprise. Whether you like it or not, every business now is an AI business. Whether you ship a product or not, your business is an AI business. And the reason why is because your employees are using AI. They're uploading their sensitive information, your protected IP, into tools like ChatGPT and asking for summaries. If you are using Microsoft tools, maybe you have Copilot integrated in. Any way you slice it, whether you're experiencing the usage of shadow AI on the part of employees, or whether you are a direct LLM wrapper, whether you are producing an AI product, or whether your business just relies on AI to make business decisions. Every business is now an AI business. Ignoring AI security is no longer an option, especially now that we are seeing these vulnerabilities out in the wild. If you don't want to lose your sensitive IP, if you don't want to lose business secrets, if you don't want to have embarrassing emails leaked, if you don't want to lose your API keys and have a potentially catastrophic breach, you can't afford to ignore AI security any longer. So in terms of what Agent Smith has accomplished for us, it's made us aware of a couple of issues. Number one, the catastrophic exposure potential of these systems as they're being integrated into so many critical functions in business. This malicious proxy that discreetly intercepted all user communications kind of buries the lead a little bit in its phrasing. So discreetly intercepted means that there was no knowledge about this on the part of the person operating the system. And all user communications means literally anything that the system had access to. So remember earlier when I told you to hold in your mind and think about what you are giving these systems access to when you plug an AI agent in? Well, we're coming back here, and this is why. Because it isn't just what you're giving it access to, it isn't just the trust that you're exercising for security to be there when it may not be, but it is also the idea that you may not even be aware of everything that these systems have access to, and you may not even be aware when this access has been breached. The second thing that Agent Smith showed us is that this vulnerability has been patched for now. But because of this nearly infinite attack surface, there will absolutely be more. And it's up to us to be proactive. With a nearly infinite attack surface, the next attack is definitely coming. Do you want to wait around and fall victim to it? Or do you want to take the right steps now to protect yourself and your business enterprise? So when we're looking at these impacts, we see three main areas to keep in mind here: severity of breach, the sensitivity of the data, and the scope of the effects. What are you giving these agents access to? Your sensitive data may include API keys, your user prompts, documents that you have stored, images. All of these things can't be remediated once they're lost. Highly sensitive data, such as personally identifiable information or other company secrets, could be exposed without you even knowing about it. And once those are exposed, you have zero ability to mitigate it. You can't put that back in the box. It's gone, it's out there. The scope of the effect, I think, is probably the most critical takeaway from this entire thought process. And I think injecting some facts here is going to be really relevant because LangChain is an AI agent platform, but who does it serve? Organizations like Microsoft, Moody's, big organizations, many more. Uh, these are the types of orgs that are exposing themselves to AI security risk. They had no idea what was going on with Agent Smith. So, thinking, okay, this is a big organization, they've got it under control, if they know what they're doing, I can just take their word for it and copy them. It's really not going to work. Not anymore, not in the new AI driven technology landscape. So it's my hope that uh, understanding this and keeping in mind the idea of what am I giving these agents access to, what do they have the ability to do, and what might the consequences be, you're able to start building a threat model. And then when you really understand and see how impactful a vulnerability like Agent Smith can be, you really start to understand the severity of the issue. Now we add on to that who is employing these AI agents, and it's everyone. It's people that you or organizations that you thought you could trust. And on top of that, we're going to pile on the fact that this is an infinite attack surface, and we're never going to find all the vulnerabilities. So, what do we do? How do we patch it? Where do we go from here? Well, the first step is to take AI security seriously. It's to be proactive in your AI security stance, and it's to educate yourself on what AI security really means. Because no longer are we going to be able to trust the big names. No longer are we going to be able to just assume that everything is secure. In the new AI driven landscape, security must be proactive and it has to be on us. Thanks.
Thank you, Susanna, for your presentation. I'm sure everyone learned a lot. Susanna is offering some AI security products and services. Let's have Principal Analyst Christopher Richardson come on and tell us about the Galson Research AI Security Suite.
Thanks, Chad. Galson Research is proud to introduce our AI Security Suite, featuring our AI Security Playbook that gives actionable insights to improve your AI security posture today. We have our AI Security 101 Executive Briefing. This is designed to give leaders insight into the current threats for large language models and agentic AI so you can make better strategic decisions. We have AI security audits conducted by Susanna Cox and her team. These audits evaluate your existing investment and make recommendations to improve your AI security so that bad actors are unable to cause harm. We have AI security workshops in the form of a half day, full day, or multi day workshop, depending on your organization's needs. These can be conducted online or in person. These workshops are designed to give your team the opportunity to work together with a subject matter expert on securing your AI investments. We have AI security and governance consulting through our Galson Expert Network. Consulting is available by the hour or by the project. This is your opportunity to get an expert first or second opinion before making AI investments. The AI Security Suite offerings are available now. For more information, email aisecurity@galson.com.
Thanks, Christopher. Susanna, do you have any parting words?
So, Gartner just recently estimated that by 2027, at least 40% of all agentic AI projects will be canceled. They've also estimated that out of thousands of agentic AI applications, probably only about 130 of them were actual agentic AI. And many of these applications are failing because of a lack of AI security or an inability to build something that is actually legit. So, my parting words to you are if you are investing in AI and you'd like to get a return on your investment, you absolutely must be proactive in investing in AI security as well.
Well, it's been my pleasure to host this webinar on agentic AI vulnerabilities presented by Galson Research. Take care, everyone.